Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good. And yourself?
Oh, pretty good, pretty good. I'm just working on some homework and some statistics problems.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Not really, but
Well, let's take a break for a minute. So, what are we going to talk about today?
well, why don't we give an update after yesterday about what's going on with the fires in Gatlinburg?
So the aftermath of all this. Um, last night I woke up. So after all the fires and everything, last night I wake up to an emergency alert, another one. This time it was a bunch of tornado ones. So we go from having wildfires burning everything down to now we have so much rain that we're getting tornado warnings and possible flood warnings. So it's like, it's the right hook don't get you, the left one will.
I know, right?
It's just been like one thing after another all these past 2 days. It's just been crazy. It's like Tennessee is Brock Lesnar and the weather and Mother Nature is Goldberg.
I know, right?
Like it's bad. Uh, but hey, we're hanging in there. We're hanging in there. We have there's a lot of people that have set up donations and GoFundMe accounts and things like that to help support people. And a lot of hotels in the area are offering people that lost their homes are offering them to stay in the hotels for free. Certain cabins that weren't burned down, they're offering to house people for free. Steve Hedrick, the owners of a lot of businesses in town, like the Smoky Mountain Opry, they donated $100,000 to help all the victims of the fire. And one of Dolly Parton's foundations are donating $1,000 a month to all the families that lost their homes. So
Wow.
we got a lot of good people out here making good donations, and, spreading the word about what's going on, and asking for help. And people are
Well,
more
it's
than
good.
willing to help. So,
It's good to see that people are coming together in a time of tragedy like this.
yeah, exactly. Now I've seen some horrible people like in the media and things like that. They're like a lot of racist people. Like I've
What?
seen some people. They're like, oh well, Gatlinburg, they're 95% white, and there's a lot of Trump supporters over there. So I'm happy that they're burning down right now. I'm like,
What?
how are you happy that people are dying and burning alive in these fires and losing their homes and everything they've ever owned, all their life savings, all their investments, all their everything, and you're happy that this is happening just because they didn't vote for Hillary Clinton? Like,
Like
I,
we are still divided as a nation. It's like even it's to a point where like Hillary and all her supporters like they're contesting this and they're calling for a recount. But see, even if they recount it, it's still going to end up the same way. And especially here in Michigan, like this recount is going to cost the state of Michigan $12 million.
isn't it really? Wow.
Yeah. I was reading a report earlier today that's saying that the Michigan recount that's going to cost the taxpayers $12 million.
That's crazy. Got to be that much.
Well, you got to understand, like this doesn't happen very often. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, it's gonna they're having to double their efforts in order to recount the ballots.
Yeah. Now, I'm not really an overly political person. I try to stay out of most of it, but I just think it's messed up that people would, rejoice and celebrate that an entire like national park in an entire city, multiple cities, are like burning to the ground just because they're politically different than you. That's I don't know, that's
Oh, and I agree 100%, man. I really do. But I mean that I was just trying to merely illustrate and demonstrate that this type of division has put us in and we could talk more about this throughout our whole blog, our whole podcast today. But like
right.
the fact that we are even in the aftermath of this, that we are still divided as people, and that I think it's really weird, and I think it's just really bizarre, the fact that this type of hatred, this type of mentality, 3-4 months ago, people weren't like that.
Well,
I mean,
it's slowly been building over the last couple of years leading up to this election. It's been more and more and more division, and this division is being promoted by a lot of people in power, and it's people are being divided by race, and they're being divided by gender, they're being divided by sexuality and gender, and just so many different just any possible way they can be divided, they're being divided. And there's a lot of movements. There's a lot of, there's a lot of protests, a lot of movements. Social media is going crazy over it, and people are just eating it up, playing into it, buying into it. And I think it's going to get worse before it gets better, for sure.
I agree.
And the presidential election had a lot to do with it. And maybe it'll definitely get worse before it gets better, but I think in a weird, like, indirect way, maybe Donald Trump's presidency will help that, because there are some Trump supporters that are, that are racist, and then there's a lot of other, there's a lot of Hillary supporters that are the same way, and that are, a lot of them are sexist, a lot of them are homophobic, or this, that, or the other thing. And I think this election, what it has succeeded in doing is it brought those people to the front and put a spotlight on them. It's like we've identified all the people that are acting this way, and so now we have a chance to deal with it. Because it's all the people that are racist or are sexist or are discriminating against people in any way. This election has encouraged a lot of people to speak up about it and identify themselves and how they feel and how they really think. And
I think this election is finally had us address the elephant in the room. I think us as a nation, us as a society, we have been, over the last years, we've just been shoveling and putting these issues under the rug. And now it's to the point where that rug is so big that the rug blew off after the election.
Yeah, exactly.
And now we've got this big mess, and I think now we need, more importantly, to have everyone work together to clean this up.
Yeah, and it's nice that in times of tragedy and in times of hardship, that's when people come together the most. Like, a lot of people are divided in this country right now, and it's sad that it took something like a tragedy, a wildfire, or terrorist attacks or whatever, especially a wildfire, because a terrorist attack tends to divide people even more, because a lot of it raises even more questions about gun rights and flags and this, that, or the other thing. But a wildfire is that's just nature. Well, it was an arsonist, but when nature takes over and we got these tornado warnings and these winds, and everyone, it's man against nature, it's not man against man. So it's like it brings people together to fight for a common cause. And I think
it's a reality.
It's sad that it takes that to get people to come together, but at the same time, I'm grateful that people are coming together, at least in this Tennessee area.
And I think it's a wake up call.
Yeah, for a lot of people.
I
And
mean,
I hope the trend
hey,
continues of people, coming together, and it's not going to happen overnight, but
of course
I
not.
think hopefully a trend comes together where people are becoming more close together and less divided. I seen a thing on I seen an article today. Someone posted on Facebook, and I thought it was kind of ridiculous, but I want to hear your thoughts on it, because I just found this article like 10, 20 minutes ago, and it was called "Bury Your Gays," and it was a whole article, basically complaining that all the TV shows are killing off too many gay people.
What?
And one of I don't watch a lot. You watch a lot more TV than I do. I mostly just watch The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
But one of the characters that they referenced on there was The Walking Dead killing off Denise. She was the one that got the arrow through the eye, because she was a lesbian and she was with Tara.
Oh boy.
And they killed her off. And so what? What are your thoughts on this?
Okay, let me put it like this, right? First of all, like her character, it wasn't the fact that she was a lesbian and that she got killed off the show. It's the fact that her character was a pretty weak character, and it was time for her to go. Like, she wasn't, I'm just, now keep in mind, I'm only speaking from my perspective, mind you. But what I'm saying is, like, her character wasn't very, very exciting. Like,
Now,
it was time for her to go.
Her death was very important. Her death was necessary to the story, because her death was needed, because if she didn't die, then the survivors would not have had a need to take Maggie to the hilltop to see the doctor, and they never would have been stopped by the saviors. So that would have drastically altered the story if they didn't kill her. So her death was necessary to move the plot forward. Now, the fact that she was a lesbian character was just mere, was just a coincidence. Honestly, the only reason she was really lesbian was just to more or less please the lesbian or the LGBT community, because they wanted to give the lesbian characters more representation on the show. So they're like, well, what, we can make these characters lesbian, and that would that would provide more representation for that minority group. And The Walking Dead there's been controversy about this a lot, and it's a lose-lose situation, like with their black characters. They've been criticized for killing off the new black characters as well. And the casting, the guy who's in charge of the casting, he put it like this. He's like, I know who's going to die well before I ever cast them. And when I cast them based on who is the best actor for the role. I don't cast them based on whether they're black or white, or whether their character is going to be gay or straight or whatever. He's like, if a black guy comes in and he's a phenomenal actor, I'm going to hire him. Yeah, I know his character is going to die after 12 episodes or whatever, but that's not the point. The point is I'm hiring him because he's a good actor. If I don't hire him, then I'll get criticized for not hiring enough black people. And if I do hire him, I'll get criticized for killing off a black character. And this is The Walking Dead. Everybody's gonna get killed off eventually.
And I agree. And I feel like either way they're screwed. I do. Like,
just like,
it's a lose situation.
Yeah, and if Denise wasn't a lesbian character, then they might get criticized for not having enough lesbian or gay characters on the show. And it's like, you can't have any minority characters on The Walking Dead without them being killed off, because everybody is going to get killed off at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody. Even Rick. Rick is probably going to die at some point. He's the main character, but he's probably going to die. And also keep in mind that The Walking Dead has a lot of gay characters. Like, they have Aaron, and they have Aaron's husband, and they had Tara, who's a lesbian, and they had Denise, who was a lesbian. They even have Jesus, who's gay. Like, they even got Jesus. Like, Make Jesus gay. What more can you ask for? You know?
I'm not going to touch that one.
Now they haven't revealed in the show that Jesus is gay yet, but in the comic books, Jesus is.
Well, no, he is. Like the actor that plays Jesus revealed it today.
Yeah.
I can even send you the news article.
Now, when that's revealed in the actual show, there's going to be a lot of like Christians and things like that are upset over it, I'm sure. So, and
I think Robert Kirkman did that on purpose.
I think he did too. You know, controversy makes the show more popular.
Exactly.
It makes them more money. So,
I mean, what's more controversial than a gay Jesus? Come on now.
I know, right? So, and you know, it's like
you see, that's like all you got to do is throw a fat man in a Christmas tree and you offend everybody.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like I don't have a problem with gay characters or making gay on a show or whatever. That's whatever, because at the end of the day, it's a TV show. It's fiction, and it's just supposed to be entertainment. If you get offended by entertainment, then you're kind of sucking the joy out of your own life, I feel like.
I know, right?
Like people that get imagine you've seen the alternate footage where Negan killed Maggie, right?
Yep.
And everyone was saying, "Wow, if they would have done that, I would have quit watching the show because they can't have him kill off the pregnant." And I'm like, well, I mean, even if they did do that, it's like Negan's the bad guy. Like that's his job is to piss off the fans. And what better way to piss off the fans than killing a pregnant lady? You know what I mean? Like you're supposed to want Negan to die. He's the bad guy. That's the point. He's supposed to do things that are horrible and terrible.
There was like a few months back when X-Men Apocalypse came out. Remember when women were the feminists were creating such an uproar about how Apocalypse had her by the neck and how that was offensive against women, but it's like, no, this is part of the story.
And it's like, I just don't understand.
I almost feel like I have to talk to them like they're children, because it's like, seriously, this is how you write shows. Like,
there has
to make a bad guy a bad guy.
There has to be a bad guy. The bad guy's supposed to do things that are offensive. That's why he's the bad guy. That's the point. It brings conflict to the story. If every character on the show was just a happy-go-lucky, politically correct person, there would be no conflict. And with no conflict, there's no plot, and then you don't even have a show. You have no entertainment, and you're just bored. You know, you can't have The Walking Dead without a bad guy.
They'd be like having The Walking Dead, but we can't have any dead people on the show.
Like you have The Walking Dead, but you're not allowed to kill people. You're not allowed to kill black people. You're not allowed to kill lesbians. You're not allowed to kill. You're not allowed to kill any women. So eventually, it's just like all the men are gonna die, and you'll just have a show full of just nothing but politically correct women that never die. And it's like, well, what is going on? There's no men in this TV show. All the women miraculously survive all the zombies. Nobody ever dies. Like they just live forever and happily ever after. And it's like, well, that's kind of a boring show. You have no conflict. You have no plot. It's just, it's just a bunch of characters that never have anything happen to them.
It'd be like having the Walking Dead show, but there's no walkers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like there's no walkers, no zombies. So it's like people just kind of walking around, just, hey, what's up? Hey, how you doing?
I know. It's like, okay, is something ever gonna happen? Like, we're waiting for something to pop off. Like, come on.
Oh no, we can't have anything pop off because that might be offensive to somebody.
Yeah. And it's like you can't really be worried about offending people when you're dealing with tragedy shows like The Walking Dead.
And it's like when the bad guy kills off like an important character or a character that you like or something like that, it's supposed to spark that angering emotion, because then when you're watching it, then you're like, oh, that guy, and then you think to yourself, well, yeah, I hope they get him in the end, and then that's why you.
And then when they finally do, when they finally kill off that character that's been pissing you off all this time, it's such a glorious, triumphant moment for you as a fan. And it's like, it's just glorious.
Yes.
Like, you can rejoice at the fact that Negan's finally dead. Like, they finally killed off this guy.
Like, when they got rid of the governor. Like, when the governor was
Yeah.
finally gone, everybody was like, yeah.
Like, everyone was cheering. Like, that was one of the greatest episodes of all time. Why? Because they built up the governor as a horrible person who just kills people for no reason. And he's just a slime ball, just horrible person, offending to everybody. Like, and they finally killed him. And it was like, yes, thank you, final. You know?
Yeah, it's like all that time that you waited. It builds up to that crescendo, that moment supreme, where you finally get the payoff for all the baloney that you had to deal with.
More important to me than it's what type of character they kill off is irrelevant to me. But what matters to me is how it affects the story. Like, you can't just, like, you know, oh, Bob Joe Schmo is walking down the street and, like, he just gets shot for no reason and nothing ever happens because of it. And, you know, there's no plot development from this, and he's just gone now, and you know, that's just it. That's just the way it is. You know, why are Dingleberry brown?
I know. Wasters.
So, you know, that would make no sense. Yeah, that would be stupid. Like, if they just had, like, every gay character in the show just walking down the street, some psychopath just randomly came up and killed them all, and then nothing ever happened as a result of that, then yeah, that would make sense why you'd be mad. That makes perfect sense. But if it's something like with Denise, where that character death had a huge impact on the show and the overall plot, I'm like, yeah, that's good. I'm glad, because her character served its purpose, and the effect of that character's death still has an impact on the show to this day. So, to me, it's more of a plot issue than it is a character type issue.
Yes, I agree.
But yeah,
I agree. It's one of those things where, you know, these things. That's how stories are created. That's, you know, it's the rise and the fall of the story. You know, and I think we lost a gay character to gain a gay character. Think about it, right? So Denise is gone, but now we've got Jesus, right?
Yeah, and that's like, I noticed
so that should make them happy. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I noticed they do that a lot with the black characters too. Like, you know, they killed off Tyrese, and then they'll have, you know, like several other black characters show up. You know, they have, you know, it's kind of looked at under a microscope in this country because of the division that is going on in our country right now. So people kind of overanalyze everything, and they look into all the details. And, you know, a lot of people, they try to make it about, you know, it's like people are trying to divide us, you know. It's like, I don't understand why, you know. It's like, I wish we would just come together and enjoy the show for what it is. But, you know, a lot of people, they're going to look at every detail under a microscope, and they're just going to pick out every little thing that could possibly maybe be offensive, and, you know, they're going to kind of blow that up. So, you know, it's hard as a writer and, you know, a director to, you know, to make those decisions, to make those casting decisions, and decide who's going to get killed off, and, you know, should I hire this guy or not? If I do, I'm going to get criticized. If I don't, I'm not going to get criticized for this other thing. So it's, you know, it can be a lose-lose situation.
Oh, I agree. I agree.
It's a difficult job. I don't envy them, but, you know.
I mean, like, I do, because, like, I mean, that's what I'm going into. I mean, that's my passion. That's my life. I mean, and I think to myself, I could write some amazing Walking Dead stories, but that's neither here nor there. I think the point is I think it's a delicate balance that you have to create in order to create good storytelling, good characters that people will want to watch week after week.
And it's funny, Robert Kirkman actually... Oh, go ahead.
I think especially nowadays, it's like everyone just wants to get upset about everything. Everybody wants to fight about something. Everybody wants to get into an argument about something. And it's like, instead of worrying about destroying things and breaking things and arguing about petty, pointless things, like, let's focus on the important things. Let's grow things. Let's build things. Let's create things. You know, let's make something out of all these resources and tools that we have available to us as human beings.
Yeah. I do feel like The Walking Dead's kind of going out of the way a little bit to really try to represent, you know, minorities, and they're really trying to promote, you know, bringing people together. That's like one of the main themes of the show is people coming together to conquer their adversity. And I noticed, like, they have a lot of interracial couples on the show too, which I think is really cool. Like, they have Rick and Michonne, the two main characters, the main male character, the main female character. Together. And then they had like Abraham and Rosita, and then they had Abraham and Sasha, and you know, so they have, and then they have lesbian couples, they have gay couples. You know, I think, you know, they're really, you know, they're really trying to represent all the different minority communities, and I think that's really cool. And it kind of sucks that they're getting criticized for it, because you know, when you see that, you know, they are trying to you know, give equal representation to everybody.
Oh, you're absolutely right, and I think that's so important that they're really trying to go out of their way, and I think that's why they should get some less slack. I think people should give them a break if they're going out of their way, man, to try to create stories and characters that will appeal and bring everybody together. I mean, you know, don't poke holes in Swiss cheese, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, It's already holy. You don't got to put more holes in it. You know, it's right. One of those things, just leave it alone, man. They're trying their best. They're trying to make a good show for everybody. Dude, you know what I realized? The Walking Dead is like the Star Trek next generation of our generation.
I've never actually
people from all walks of life coming together. I mean, it's like Star Trek, bro, but with zombies.
Yeah. I've never watched Star Trek, so I can't necessarily, you know, really comment on that. But I'll take your word for it.
Well, the crew of the Star Trek Enterprise had a member of like every nationality. They had like a Russian dude. They had a black dude. They had like that black chick, and then they had like Scotty, who was Scottish. I mean, they literally had a representative from like every part of the world on the main show of Star Trek.
Cool. Okay. The Walking Dead, they lost their only Asian character.
I know, right?
That's sad.
Now the Asian community is gonna get pissed off.
Like, they need to cast like some really cool like Asian actor. Like they should get like Jackie Chan. Like how often would you see Jackie Chan going like,
you know him? He's too busy, man. Oh yeah, he would kick the crap out of some zombies, bro.
Like, that would be awesome. Like, and him and Jesus teaming up, like, they stop Negan all by themselves.
Exactly. Them and Shiva. Like, they ride into battle on Shiva and it's done.
Yeah. So, speaking of, an interesting fact about The Walking Dead, Robert Kirkman actually lied to get his story, to get the story passed, because, you know, when he wrote a comic book about zombies, they were like, yeah, this is too, you know, we have a million zombie stories. There's nothing really special about yours, so, yeah, we're going to pass on it. But then he's like, oh, well, my zombie story has aliens in it. He came up with this whole, you know, story about, you know, aliens and how aliens, you know, had their influence on the zombie apocalypse. And, like, they thought that was genius. But in reality, he never actually had any intention of going through with that story. And so the story got passed, and it became the biggest show on television, but, you know, only because he lied about some aliens. So I thought that was really funny.
Wow, that's weird.
Sometimes lying on your resume pays off, or lying about
That's a great way to end it. That's a great way to end today's show, Russ.
There's one thing.
Sometimes,
one life
sometimes
lesson.
lying on your resume pays off.
Always lie on your resume. I need to put a disclaimer that this may not always work and you may get fired, but it worked for Robert Kirkman, okay? Oh, man.
Oh, anything you want to say before we call it a day
No,
here today?
I think I'll end on that. But I think next time we talk, our next discussion is going to be about college. And it's going to be about college tuition and how outrageously expensive it is, and if there are any possible ways to overcome that.
Yeah, I wish we could have gotten to that today.
Yeah,
but
we'll get to it tomorrow. But any last remarks?
Well,
you got 10 seconds.
No, I ain't got nothing.
All right, man. All right. Well, I'm Russell
Hamilton. I'm Spyke Vonshadow.
I'm Russell Hamilton.
We'll see you next time.